Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Rausan Pereira. To ensure that all medical devices meet certain standards of quality and efficacy, the Union Health Ministry on Tuesday notified medical equipment used on humans or animals as drugs under Section 3 of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act with effect from April 1st, 2020. The ministry, through a Gazette notification, also released the Medical Devices Amendment Rules of 2020 for mandatory registration of medical devices. The aim is to regulate all medical devices so that they meet certain standards of quality. Besides, it will also make medical device companies accountable for quality and safety of their products. Once notified, the manufacture, import and sale of all medical devices will need to be certified by the Central Drug Standard Control Organization. At present, only 23 categories of medical devices are regulated under the law. On this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze the decision of bringing medical devices under the ambit of the drugs law. Joining me on the program today are Rajiv, Nath, Forum Coordinator, Association of Indian Medical Device Industry; Eswara, Reddy, Joint Drugs Controller of India. Also joining us on the program, Ravi, Valia, Head, Government Affairs, Market Access and CSR, Braun Medical India; and Sangram, Patnaik, Advocate of the Supreme Court. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture. Rajiv, Nath, let me begin the program with you. Let's first analyze and hear your views as far as the notification of categorizing medical devices as drugs. What does it mean?
Well, the notification states very clearly that every medical device with effect from 1st April 2020, in 2 months from now, will be called a drug and will be regulated as a drug. And this, of course, has created a lot of apprehensions in the manufacturers. I am completely swamped by phone calls and messages from members of IMED, the Association of Indian Medical Device Manufacturers, who are completely apprehensive and confused by this, because they had been hearing for the last few months that Niti Aayog will be coming out with a medical devices bill to regulate all devices, and that was supposed to be the long-term view and the long-term way of regulating devices. So they are quite confused and wondering that from where this googly has come, and it's been decided that now the devices will be regulated as drugs.
Okay, all right. Dr. Reddy, let me bring you into the picture now. So, you know, as far as all of this is concerned, there are concerns as far as the manufacturers are concerned. But at the end of the day, we need to have certain standards and, you know, certain operating procedures as well that we have across the board. So, your thoughts on this, and also what is the current, safety and standards that we have at the moment to regulate or to oversee medical equipments?
First of all, as you know, the drugs falls under the concurrent list of the Constitution. Based upon that, the Government of India in 1940, they have come up with the act called the Drugs and Cosmetic Act. As such, medical devices is not listed in the concurrent list or any central list or the state list. The definition of medical device is included in the year 1982 under the definition of a drug in the Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Since 1982, the Government of India is regulating medical devices to ensure its quality, safety, performance under the provisions of Drugs and Cosmetic Act. As per the drug definition, only notified devices comes under the regulation. So the Government of India, from the time to time, based upon the need of the particular device, they have notified various devices from time to time. So till now, 37 devices have been notified by the Government of India. There is also request from the industry associations, including Rajiv, Nath, all devices should be brought under the regulation. Keeping this in mind, the Government of India has constituted the expert committee how we can bring all medical devices under the regulation. So in this connection, the committee has come up with the report of a roadmap for the medical devices. I am happy to inform this roadmap has been prepared in consultation with all stakeholders, including AMET, including BIS, PICI, CII, AmCham, and also government agencies like even Niti Aayog, Department of Pharmaceutical, BIS, all are the stakeholders for making this roadmap. The government yesterday is notified the notification based upon the recommendations given in this roadmap. So that's why this roadmap is nothing new. The notification what it is made, this is entire notification content is already made, government discussed in very detail with all the stakeholders. So the main objective of coming with this notification now is to ensure all devices should be brought under the regulation. Because earlier there are some concerns with the regulation. So the government, in fact, earlier medical devices brought under the drugs and cosmetic rules, where the regulatory requirements for manufacturing, import, sale and distribution are specific to drugs. However, in the year 2017, government has come up with the specific medical device rules. This is very clear regulations have been specified, how to grant a manufacturing license, what are the regulatory requirements for the manufacturing license, import registration very clearly. So there are very clear-cut regulations for medical devices and drugs now. So there is no any confusion as far as the current regulation is concerned.
Okay, all right. Let me go across to Ravi Valia, who's with us on the program as well. So Ravi Valia, how do our standards and our checks and balances compare to those that are already existing in other countries or to international standards?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to congratulate the Ministry of Health for coming out with a notification yesterday. This will certainly enhance the patient safety of Indian patients in the long run. This will also help a lot of Indian companies to come up to the international standards and integrate with the global regulations, thereby enhancing exports. Also, it will attract in a lot of FDIs because then there will be clear mandates and guidelines laid out by the ministry. And this will also facilitate setup of ancillary equipments and other industry also. So as rightly mentioned by Dr. Reddy, the roadmap is something which was being deliberated for a long time, where a lot of stakeholder consultations did take place. And right now, yesterday, this got notified. So this certainly is one of the right steps in the right directions by the Ministry of Health to bring a lot of devices in line with the global regulations, thereby giving a lot of clarity and promoting, helping Indian manufacturers as well as exporting of these manufacturers as per the global standards. However, there are a lot of things which needs a lot of clarity, and as an industry, we would certainly liaise with the ministry and the DCGI's office with respect to several clarifications which needs to be seek, like a lot of things which are not mentioned, a lot of products which are there, a part of the equipments which are not mentioned in. So how do we go about that? That we will certainly liaise with the officials in the days to come in. But this certainly is something which is a good step and in the right direction to facilitate both export as well as bringing India at par with the global regulations.
Okay, all right. Sangram Patnaik, you've been patiently listening into everyone over the last 10 minutes or so. So let's try and answer this basic question. Why is there a need to bring medical devices under the ambit of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act?
3B4, let me come to the point straight away. You know, why there is a requirement, it was not there earlier, right? And it is nowhere, I mean, particularly even US also, if you compare the US Drug Administration, FDCA particularly, they don't have this provision. And why not? I'll explain in a while. Because they said cosmetic as voluntary and drugs is the mandatory. You need to have a registration. Here in our country, and I would definitely add to this aspect that yes, it is a step in the right direction. Why? Because end result and the end user, that is the consumer, for example, if they're getting the best out of the, I mean, whatever, I mean, maybe you have a best device, but if it is under regulatory regime, particularly when, what is that? I mean, it is a standard. You have to fix it. And if you are not maintaining the standard, you would be out of picture. So who is going to gain out of it? Ultimately, the citizen of this country would be the beneficial people who are gaining out of it. Now, what is the three aspect? Is that, I mean, who are covered? Manufacturer and the person who is selling it also, and the importers. So all three of them are covered. Now, who is apprehensive? Suppose, for example, today I would say I am a manufacturer. I am not going to maintain the standard in this short little period, because 1st April 2020 is the day when it is start. And then also there are three categories who are not covered, particularly 36 months, 42 months, low risk, high risk and medium risk. There are three categories. Now my only submission is this, why and why not this should be implemented. If I am not being able to regulate it, or my products are not up to the standard, I cannot compete with the people or the products from the outside, I should be debarred. There's nothing wrong in it. And if I'm able to compete, I could able to generate the revenue for this country also, and also within this regulation I could able to build a world-class device which cannot be challenged in any court of law. So that should be the mandate, and that should be upheld by any court of law.
Okay, all right. So, Rajiv, Nath, let me come back to you now. After hearing all the panelists out over the last 10 minutes, I think the word regulation has been thrown around quite a bit. Accountability also has been thrown about quite a bit. And, you know, we heard Dr. Reddy also talk about how this is being done to ensure that we have proper regulation, because that has been a problem in the past. And also, we need to fix accountability, because you're dealing with something that could save a person's life or take it away at the end of the day. So then complying with it shouldn't be a problem.
Let me, I think, clarify from the beginning that in most businesses, industrialists normally run away from regulations or want regulations to be diluted. Our Association of Indian Medical Device Industry has been consistently been seeking regulations for medical devices, but of the right kind, with the right kind of regulatory framework. And about the roadmap which Dr. Reddy has been talking about, this was definitely discussed in January last year. Two key points of the roadmap have not been coming forward either in the DTAB minutes or in the notification, and that's where the apprehensions are. We did get in 2016 the medical device rules, which became effective from 1st January 2018. But these were planted still under the Drugs Act. We were told it's an interim measure. We have been seeking a long-term measure whereby devices will be regulated as devices, as engineering products. We are not medicines, we are not drugs. So we have simply been seeking from the Ministry of Health 4 clarifications. Today Dr. Reddy is here, maybe he can answer those clarifications. Number 1, is the Ministry of Health in sync with the Niti Aayog will? And the 2 notifications which have come out yesterday, are they only a temporary stopgap arrangement until we have the separate law? This is my first question. If this is answered, it will help to allay the apprehensions a lot. The second is that we've been seeking that these medical device rules which have been framed, they may be a bit too tough and may be an overkill for those manufacturers of SME category, 5 to 10 people, employees only, making very low risk devices. By low risk I mean making something like a stretcher, a wheelchair, spectacles, you make a belt for orthopedic for your spine for taking the pain away. Now for those kind of manufacturers to have a full-fledged quality management system and to have staff to comply with Schedule 5 requirements is something which is an overkill, and they have been crying about it. We've heard their pleas, and there's definitely merit. If consumers want access to low cost affordable product from them, and these products have been serving a utility in our society for many years, they are affordable, they are safe, they have not caused any illness or death or any injury all these years, then these manufacturers should allow to continue. The medium risk and the high risk products definitely do require a more higher risk proportionate controls which are there in the medical device rules. But the law needs to be also medical device proportionate. The third point that we've been seeking is that the various manufacturers who will now be coming under the regulatory ambit, and the time period is defined of 30 months or 42 months, whatever, they definitely do need capacity building and capability building. So we seek from the Ministry of Health training workshops and advice and guidelines and initiatives for helping these manufacturers to come up and conform to the law. Number 4, what we are also seeking is that there was a medical device expert advisory group which was created to help CDSCO and to help the Ministry of Health in rolling out regulations for medical devices and to create a regulatory framework for medical devices. Now it's very unfortunate that all these important strategic decisions have taken place at the DTAB level without any person from the medical device industry being present or any regulatory expert being present. And after that also we've been raising these issues, and we've been seeking this meeting of the advisory group to take place so that they can help the government in this change management. Any change, if it is explained tell the people why the change is being done, how it will be done, how it will affect them, and help them to prepare for it. Then that change is taken in a positive spirit. But if the change comes disruptive, it comes overnight, and they don't feel that it is in line with what has been discussed in the past or what has to be explained to them in the past, then it comes as a surprise and shock and becomes like disruptive.
Right.
So Dr. Reddy may feel otherwise, but this is the clear feedback that I am collecting. I am the forum coordinator for IMED. My job is to collect inputs from my membership and then pass it on to the government and help policy makers come up with the right kind of support system and the ecosystem by which Make in India can thrive.
Okay, all right. This is the honest feedback as far as IMED is concerned, is what Mr. Nath is suggesting. Dr. Reddy, what is your response to that?
So, I think my response, prima facie, what Rajiv is saying in this, they are looking this regulation into, projecting the regulation into their members, maybe whether, generally will speak, whether glass is half full or half empty. Both statements are correct, but how you project that, how you look into the system. As Rajiv said rightly, regulations are always a dynamic nature. They are never static. Today what regulation, tomorrow it may be absolute. So government always come up with the regulations as per the latest technological developments, latest requirements, and also the latest technology, like tomorrow's artificial intelligence or machine learning, these will come. At present these are not regulated under any system. So government will come up with a new regulation to monitor such type of activities also. Government, what they decided to come up with this notification based upon current need. If future need is something different, definitely come up with the new regulations, new mechanism, new system to regulate the medical devices. That is the first point with respect to what Raju said. Second point about the low cost class.
Let him complete.
Class A devices. If you see the clear regulations what we have made under the medical device rules what I have stated, the regulatory requirements for approval of any drug or a device or regulatory requirement for grant of any manufacturing license for drug and device is completely different. There is no any drug requirements are applicable for devices. For example, in case of a drugs, we ask for the drug related activities, like for example pharmacokinetics, bioavailability studies. There is no that such type of requirement for the devices. If you see these devices regulations what we have made, this made on par or in association with the international standards. And we also harmonized as much as possible our medical device regulations with the international regulations. So there is no any confusion at all. Drug regulations or drug requirements are applicable for the medical devices. It is a very clear cut. But how you interpret that, that makes a difference. So if you see in the entire this medical device rules, there is no single word called drug. Even the licenses which are issued, it is like form number also, it is MD10 or MD20, whatever applicable for particular form. The name used is medical device only. No drug terminology at all in the medical device regulations. There is no confusion at all. But and second point, the third point what Raju said, capacity building, I agree with him. Yes, whenever the new regulation comes, we need to give proper training to them, we need to properly percolate. Now just we have given the notification yesterday, and already now government definitely we will in association with the industry and all people will impart the training, and we will make a training schedules, and we have almost 30 months for the class A and B devices and 42 months for the class C and D devices. And meantime, as Raju said rightly, we will definitely impart the training to the not only the industry, in fact the training is also required for the regulators.
Right.
In fact, we recently already recruited 23 medical device officers whose qualification is engineering background. They are biomedical engineering, mechanical engineering and electrical engineers. There is no any other science background for these people. They are completely engineering background. The government is also sanctioned specific post only for medical devices. We have 2 posts only medical devices, deputy drug controller, and 5 post assistant drug controller post, and 23 drug inspector, and 15 assistant drug inspector posts. In addition to this, in the roadmap we already recommended more than 500 posts only for medical device division. In principle, government has agreed, and the health ministry has forwarded the proposal to the Department of Expenditure, and in principle they have agreed. So anytime we will get the good number of additional posts for the medical devices, they are going to be trained and qualified as per the medical device rules and regulations.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Dr. Reddy, if you could answer me just clearly on my question, is the Ministry of Health in sync with the Niti Ayog's medical device bill or not?
Niti, that's why Raju, if you see this roadmap is made in consultation with all stakeholders, including
you mentioned it in the opening statement itself,
including Niti Ayog.
I think all stakeholders are on board. No, let's not get into a this kind of a discussion here on Rajya Sabha TV. We'll take the discussion forward, give the others an opportunity to speak as well. Let me go across to Ravi Valia. Ravi Valia, as far as some operational difficulties and challenges are concerned, what are some of those that you foresee in the near future?
So as we know that India is still dependent 70% on imported medical devices. We are very strong in consumables and we export a lot of consumables. There are a lot of, as I said in my opening remark, there are a lot of clarifications which the industry would need and seek from the DCGI and the Health Ministry with respect to several clarity, like in terms of the IL, the definitions of importers and manufacturers, or with respect to, there are issues with respect to RC, what is it that we need to do? And of course, there are some issues with respect to low risk, high end and high end, low risk devices. So these are some of the operational issues, and we have a suitable time period whereby we certainly would coordinate and work with the authorities, the DCGI office, and try and get this sorted out, or a very clarity would be sorted out, so that it's end of the day, it's a win-win scenario for everybody. Operational challenges will always be there because for some it would be on the right side, for some a lot of things would have to be done. As long as it is as par with the international standards, it promotes Indian manufacturers also to comply and come up to that standards, so that when they are in a position to export and bring in more foreign revenue, as well as bring in more FDI, because then the policies are globally harmonized with GHTF countries and several other things. So that is a step in the right direction, and it continues to be changed and updated as and when there is a need. Because India, being a developing countries and a pharma exporter, medical devices is also something which a lot of countries look forward upon India, and with the regulations in place and the operational issues will certainly be looked after with the authorities, and surely it will be sorted out so that it doesn't become a hindrance, but it becomes a future prospect, a growth opportunity, and India becomes a exporter, not only a manufacturer for India, but also for rest of the world.
Okay, all right, Sangram Patnaik, we've heard what the manufacturers and what the industry and the government had to say really as far as this particular notification is concerned. But let's look at it from the consumer's point of view. What does it mean really for the consumer, and how does the consumer react to all of this and taking things forward?
There are three things. As a consumer, suppose X is a patient and I'm getting the best devices, and insofar as the quality and the standard which is being maintained by the manufacturer, and I am getting that devices because it is being controlled, it is being regulated, and this is my parameters on the basis of which you have to get that license or the approval from the authority, and I am getting the best. Suppose there is a well-known saying that either you compete or you perish. End of the day, the consumer is the king, and if I am a patient in the hospital, I am getting the best of best devices in a price which I ought to get. Now today it is not regulated. For example, there is nobody who would say that yes, these are the devices which should be or ought to be outrightly rejected. It should not be there in the open market. Now being a consumer, I am bound to take that service, or being a consumer that yes, I am going to get that service because the moment X is admitted to the hospital and he is going to get the devices which is available in the market, which is not being regulated by it. I am not saying regulated in the sense that yes, you tie down the feet and you tell the manufacturer to run. No. The manufacturer should know that this is my area on the basis of which I have to give this product, or if I am importing, I need to have these standards. So therefore, it is clear in everybody's mind that I am going to get the best product. Secondly, with regard to this aspect that, the time period. Now, low risk. I personally believe that yes, 30 months period, maybe yes, the training is required, the people should know the law, people should know the regulations and all, but 30 months period for the low risk or for the high risk or the medium risk, the 42 months is probably, according to me, is a period on the basis of which everything will fall in place. And it's not that abruptly somebody, you're going to, clip somebody's ear or the eyes. It is only with regard to the regulation, the moment the regulation comes and within that four corners or the parameters of law, and you have to adjust yourself that yes, if I am going to run in this field, I have to be maintaining the standard because I have to compete with the international standard. There is no gainsaying the fact that Indian manufacturers is lacking behind. They are the best. Only thing is that yes, I would say, and I would be in a position to say, I am best in terms of the every manufacturer all over the world. So I do not think that, be that from the manufacturer point of view or from the consumer point of view, it is a win-win situation. The regulation at last has come. It is maybe little late in the day, but it would be I would say that yes, the impact would be for the generation to come.
Okay, all right. Okay, closing comments from all my guests now. I've got limited time on the program, so I'm going to ask you to be brief. Let's talk about the best way forward as far as this particular issue is concerned, starting first with you, Rajiv Nath.
From IMED, we've been seeking a separate rule book, a separate law book, and a separate regulatory framework. We got a separate rule book, we have still not got a separate law book. Niti Aayog has promised us one. We are not sure whether the Ministry of Health is in sync with them or not, and that confirmation has not come forward. And that lack of confirmation is what is causing us this apprehension. When it comes to regulatory framework, once again, in terms of a separate regulatory framework with specialists and adequate manpower competent to handle devices different from drugs is something that we've been seeking for a long time. It is good that people are being employed, they'll be trained. We are very happy with that. But what's required at the head is people who understand what devices are all about and treat them differently from drugs and not pharmacists.
Okay.
Number three, it's very important that going forward, the country definitely needs to build that competency and that confidence with the patients that what the country is making and producing for them is going to be safe.
Sure.
This is of primary importance, and if something does go wrong, we need not go for everything to the court of law. The regulator should have the power. We want the regulator to be empowered. The regulator should be able to discipline the manufacturer, make us do whatever corrective action is required, warn us, discipline us, punish us. There should be no need for us to go for every small thing to the court of law.
Right.
And we need to decriminalize most activities which are currently there in the Drugs Act.
Okay, points taken. Dr. Reddy, very quickly.
This notification will clearly ensure the safety and quality of the medical devices which are not under the regulation at present. Second, this regulation also will support the industry to export our medical device from India. At present, the devices which are exporting, there is without any license, without any certification. With this regulation, once the device will be implemented, the government will assure the quality and we will give the certificate, exportability certificate or the license for manufacturing of that.
Right.
And at present, the regulation, there is no any confusion of the drug and device. We have a clearly segregated rules for drugs and devices. If any manufacturer would like to manufacture any particular drug in India, there are very clearly spelled out the regulations.
Sure.
Not a single drug regulation is applicable.
Okay.
If any manufacturer will have any reservation on these rules where drug regulations are applicable, we will definitely address that.
Okay, all right. Ravi, Valia?
Finally, a good move to consider medical devices as different from drugs. A right move by the MOHF. Challenges would be there, but at least it will ensure good quality products available to the patient with safety in mind at the top priority, and also it will make India one of the exporters of medical devices, and it will facilitate best latest technology products available to the Indian patients.
Sure.
And that's what is the need of the hour, that India is a country which the world looks upon that. So a good move. Yes, challenges are there, issues are there, but certainly with the time given of 30, 42 and the other months, with the discussions with the regulator, all those things will certainly be appropriately handled and clarified.
Okay, sorry to cut you short, Ravi Valia, completely out of time. Sangram Patnaik, quick concluding remark from you.
End of the tunnel, there is a light. The light has come. Now, secondly, with regard to this aspect, I'll just close in a while. This aspect is, I agree entirely that the step in the right direction. At least let us not throw the baby in the bathwater without realizing the importance of the baby itself.
Sure.
So therefore, this amendment 3B4 is in the need of hour, and it is be done in the right direction.
Okay, all right. On that note, we'll call it a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. That's it from me. See you again next time.